The next category of the cost of quality is the internal failure cost. Internal failure cost is related to all the failures which happen within the organization before it leaves the boundary of the organization or before it reaches the hands of the customer. In internal failure cost, we could consider the in-process scrapping and reworking. So, if your process has produced something wrong, you scrap that, you reject that, or you do rework to make it right. The cost incurred in that would be the internal failure cost. Any troubleshooting or repairing which you are doing, that's the internal failure cost. Any design changes you make based on the problems you are facing would be internal failure cost. When you have problems, then you need to keep extra inventory to make sure that your production continues. So, for example, if your target is to produce 100 pieces, but then you know that 10 pieces every 100 pieces might have a problem, so you need to keep those 10 pieces extra. So, instead of targeting 100 pieces, you will be targeting 110 pieces with the assumption that okay, 10 might have some problems as we go further. So, that extra inventory, the money which ties up in extra inventory, those 10 pieces which we were talking would be considered as the cost of quality, because to maintain the inventory you need to spend money, and then you will need some space to keep those extra pieces, you will need some extra handling. So, all these costs basically will add up and give you a big number once you look at that cost. So, if you have reworked on some item, so item was wrong, you corrected that, but then you need to spend extra money on re-inspecting, rechecking that item which you corrected. So, there is a extra money involved in retesting as well. And many a times you cannot bring that repaired product to that top level quality, whatever you are producing, whatever you are giving to the customer, but then in that case you will downgrade that product and sell that cheaper to some other customers. So, the amount which you get less because of downgrading, that also will be considered as the cost of quality. So, now if you look at these numbers are huge. The cost of internal and external failure basically is a big amount. Internal would be still less, but external could mean a lot. Any external failure might really cost you a big money. So, whatever money you can spend in preventing as a first attempt, appraising as a second layer of protection, and then maybe the last layer of protection is internal failure, because even at internal failure also you are good because you caught that problem before it reaches in the hands of customer, but once it goes out, the cost implications might be huge. Let us look at those costs which are related to external failure on the next slide.